So let's this is the end of this conversation, and there's a lot that like I feel like was said here between us with regards to emotional labor, starting from the beginning when we talked about work and responsibility and feeling like that was the definition of our identity.
Definitely.
And how that leads to putting the emotional labor on the women that we come back home to meet, again, romantically or otherwise. And we started to talk about communication and to how like we feel like that is how we could have dealt with things in the past. Like again, I feel like we are at better places in our lives now in that sense, and huge regret again for me personally in situations that I wish I could have handled better. When now I think about like how can I state my intention from the get-go so that this other woman isn't constantly trying to think about what's going on in my head, right? Like, and yeah, again, it doesn't always work out as we want it to.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's a risk, and I think that's a risk that we're always scared to take.
Yes.
Is that like if I tell this babe I'm not down, she might leave me, or she's not gonna be here and deal with my shit anymore. And fam, that's fair. That's okay. Like, it has to be okay because it's not just about you. When you think about emotional labor, we're just thinking about one person's feelings all the time. And as the guy, it's like, I'm not going to tell you anything because all I care about is getting this nut off. Right? Like, all I care about is you being here for me, listening to my shit all day long. Right? Like, I think, but like, we want to lie and say we haven't thought about that. Right? Like, I've definitely thought about that. Like, I don't want to tell you because if I tell you, this is what I'm losing. And, like, bro, like, that's like some emotional terrorism. Like, you're a terrible person.
It's mad because yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Exactly, right? Like again, like if
actually is.
If you're a guy that listens to it, you haven't done it, that's fair. But if you have, bro, like check yourself, man. Like that's not the role we want to play anymore. We are responsible for our community, whether you're an African man, you're a Caribbean man, African American, whatever.
We're all black.
Again, you're black, right? Like the women in our lives that take care of us, that are there for us, that process our emotions for us, also have their own emotions and shit to deal with. So again, it is your responsibility to deal with your shit. Be honest about your shit. Yeah. Like so that it's not their job to carry it.